CET, PG, LL.M. Consolidated Solved Question Bank. Sample Papers 2016, 2018, 2023, 2025. Questions with Answers. CET, PG, LL.M. 2016. Questions 1 to 75. IPC Evidence Constitution CPC Contract Sale of Goods. Which of the following is true? Uns. Treating criminals as sick persons is covered by the reformative theory. Right to private defense of property falls short of causing death in. Uns. Mischief causing apprehension of hurt. Death under IPC denotes. Uns. Death of a human being. Maxim de minimis non curat lex means. Uns. Law would not take action on a small and trifling matter. Grave and sudden provocation is. Uns. A mixed question of law and fact. Assault cannot be caused by mere. Uns. Words. Immovable property can be the subject matter of. Uns. Dacoity, closest correct option in the given choices. Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 is effective from. Uns. February 2013. Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 is based on. Uns. Verma Committee Report. Evidence Act Propositions, Character Evidence. Uns. All 4, I, 2, 3 and 4, are correct. Confession of one accused is admissible against a co-accused if. Uns. They are tried jointly for the same offense. Communication, without prejudice, is protected under. Uns. Section 23. Entries in books of account are relevant under. Uns. Section 34. Statements by a conspirator are relevant under. Uns. Section 10. Which does not form part of res gesti. Uns. Statements made after a time gap. Res gesti, Section 6 of Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, 2023, earlier Section 6 of Evidence Act, 1872. Meaning. Res gesti means, things done. It refers to statements and acts that are so closely connected to a relevant fact that they form part of the same transaction and are considered reliable evidence. Epistolary jurisdiction refers to. Uns. PIL through letters to the court. Prorogation of the House means. Uns. The session of the House is terminated. Prompt dower is also known as. Uns. Muajjal. Supreme Court review power is under. Uns. Article 137. The Constitution does not provide impeachment of. Uns. The Gunner. Limitation Act, 1963 applies to. Uns. Courts. Section 5 of the Limitation Act applies to. Uns. Appeal. Puberty implies. Uns. Age of maturity. A Muslim marriage on the ground of fosterages. Uns. Void, batil. A chief judicial magistrate may pass a sentence. Uns. Not exceeding 7 years. Who is authorized to appoint the public prosecutor for the district court? Uns. State government. Acknowledgement under the Limitation Act. Uns. Extends the period of limitation. Limitation for suits relating to tort. Uns. Maximum 3 years. Limitation period for setting aside an ex parte decree. Uns. 30 days. A district judge under Article 233 is appointed by. Uns. Governor of the state. Magistrate under Section 110 CRPC, for security. Uns. Executive magistrate. Who cannot claim maintenance under CRPC. Uns. A major married daughter able to maintain herself. Incorrect statement regarding res judicata. Uns. A writ petition dismissed in limine operates as res judicata. Attachment before judgment in a dismissed suit. Uns. Does not revive automatically. A garnishee order is. Uns. An order prohibiting the debtor from paying the judgment debtor. A partnership has. Uns. No distinct legal entity separate from its partners. Not an essential of partnership. Uns. Registration. FIR, incorrect statement. Uns. It cannot be used as a previous statement for any purpose. Not a kind of partner. Uns. Principal officer. A partner making a capital contribution is. Uns. A creditor of the firm. Acts of a partner bind. Uns. The entire firm. Liability by holding out is based on. Uns. Estoppel. Marriage prohibited on the ground of being a daughter. Uns. Consanguinity. High Court for the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Uns. Calcutta High Court. Incorrect statement. Uns. All orders are not appealable but all decrees are appealable. Transfer of property in goods is governed by. Uns. Lex situs. Risk passes with. Uns. Ownership of goods. Interest under Section 61 of the Sale of Goods Act. Uns. When there is no term in the contract. Stoppage in transit is defeated by. Uns. Wrongful delivery of goods. Right of lien is lost under. Uns. Section 49 of the Sale of Goods Act. Right to sue the carrier lies with. Uns. The seller who delivers goods to the carrier. Rule of estoppel, leading case. Uns. Coal v. Northwestern Bank. Legal representatives of the deceased. Uns. X, Y and the husband of Y. Next friend under Order 32 CPC. Uns. Cannot compromise without leave of the court. Order 12 Rule 6 admissions. Uns. May be in pleadings or otherwise. Nullum crimen sine lege means. Uns. No crime or punishment without law. Correct statement on preparation. Uns. Preparation to commit murder is not an offense. Section 511 does not apply in the case of. Uns. Attempt to murder. A woman running to a well but stopped is guilty of. Uns. No offense. Jurisdiction depends on. Uns. Where the crime is committed. Difference between Section 149 and Section 34 IPC. Uns. Common intention versus membership of an unlawful assembly. Punishment not provided under IPC. Uns. Transportation for life. A police officer arresting the wrong person in good faith. Uns. Commits no offense. 6 persons fighting at a station. Uns. Rioting. A servant retaining money of the master. Uns. Criminal breach of trust. Not entitled to conduct a summary trial. Uns. Judicial magistrate second class. Sanction to pardon an accomplice. Uns. State government. A tender is. Uns. An invitation to offer. Future interest on a decree. Uns. Depends on prevailing bank rates. A contract under coercion is uns. Voidable. A contract with partly unlawful consideration. Uns. Void. An agreement to remain unmarried is uns. Void. A contract with a minor is uns. Void. Goods displayed with a price tag in a shop. Uns. An invitation to offer. Future interest on a decree. Uns. Depends on prevailing bank rates. A contract under coercion is uns. Voidable. A contract with partly unlawful consideration. Uns. Void. An agreement to remain unmarried is uns. Void. A contract with a minor is uns. Void. Goods displayed with a price tag in a shop. Uns. An invitation to offer. Constructive res judicata is under uns. Explanation 4 to Section 11 CPC. Article 1 declares India to be uns. A union of states authorized by Article 11 to regulate citizenship. Uns. Parliament. Article 14 provides uns. Equality before law and equal protection of laws, both. Rights of minorities. Uns. To conserve culture and to establish educational institutions, arts. 29 to 30. Not a fundamental duty. Uns. To exploit the natural environment, the duty is to protect it. Not a directive principle. Uns. Question is defective. All four listed options are DPSPs. True about the President's oath. Uns. He subscribes an oath in the presence of the CJI, Art. 60. Language not in the 8th schedule. Uns. Bhojpuri. A constitutional amendment needs state ratification. Uns. When it relates to Article 368, Proviso. Eligibility for Vice President. Uns. Qualified for election as a member of the Council of States, Art. 66. Incorrect regarding special address, Art. 87. Uns. He does not inform Parliament of the causes of its summons, he must inform. Disqualification as MP MLA, Arts. 102 by 191. Uns. Both, not a citizen voluntary foreign citizenship, and allegiance to a foreign state. Chairman of a state legislative council. Uns. To be chosen by its members, Art. 182. Appoints additional judges of a high court. Uns. President, Art. 224. The Supreme Court may sit elsewhere if Uns. The CJI, with the approval of the President, so appoints, Art. 130. Noted judgment on removal of a gunner. Uns. BP Singhalvi, Union of India. Tenure of the Advocate General. Uns. Till he enjoys the pleasure of the gunner, Art. 165. A High Court may issue a writ for Uns. Enforcement of fundamental rights and for any other purpose, Art. 226. State with no special status. Uns. Question is defective. Gujarat and Maharashtra both have Art. 371 provisions. Prohibition of slaughter of cows and calves. Uns. Article 48. 2017 Babri 120-B charge against Advani etc. Uns. CBI v. Kalyan Singh. Third gender recognized as citizens with rights. UNS. NLSAV. Union of India. Article 356 Maximum Period, 68th Amendment. UNS. 3 years. Article 35 pertains to UNS. Jammu and Kashmir. Transfer of cases under Article 139A. UNS. On its own motion, or on application of the Attorney General, or of a party. Article 352 Emergency without Parliament's approval. UNS. 1 month. Article 145 Rule-making power for UNS. Practice and procedure of the court. Article 395 repealed. UNS. Government of India Act, 1935 and the Indian Independence Act, 1947. Original parts and schedules of the Constitution. UNS. 22 parts and 8 schedules. Foreign company under the Companies Act. UNS. Incorporated outside India, has a business place in India, and conducts business in India, all, S.2, 42. Consensus ad idem means. UNS. Parties identified the same thing in the same sense. Carlyle v. Carbolic smoke ball correlates to UNS. General offer. Co-sureties under Section 146 contribute. UNS. Equally. A contract of indemnity is. UNS. A contingent contract. Donog v. Stevenson, manufacturer's duty toward. UNS. The consumer. Rylance v. Fletcher rule not applicable when escape is due to. UNS. Vis major, act of God. Volunty non fit injuria stands for. UNS. Consent. Law of tort has developed mainly through. UNS. Judicial decisions. Who regarded law as a normative science. UNS. Hans Kelsen. Right in re aliena means a right over. UNS. A property of someone else. Acquisition of res nullius is. UNS. Original acquisition of ownership. Author of The Morality of Law. UNS. Loan fuller. Possession of a material object is. UNS. Corporeal possession. Term of a non-permanent member of the Security Council. UNS. 2 years. The International Court of Justice consists of. UNS. 15 members. UN Secretary-General is appointed. UNS. By the General Assembly on the recommendation of the Security Council. Shariat Act, 1937 not applicable to. UNS. Agricultural land. Not a condition for marriage, S.5 HMA. UNS. Guardian representation if below 21 years of age. Divorce by mutual consent added to the HMA in. UNS. 1976, S.13b. Territorial jurisdiction, S.19 HMA. UNS. Where the marriage was solemnized and where the respondent resides. Class I are under Section 8 of the Hindu Succession Act. UNS. Mother and daughter. Not disqualified to inherit, HSA. UNS. A person with disease, defect or deformity, S.28. Renonkins under the Hama are in the territory of. UNS. Pondicherry. Minor under the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act. UNS. A person below 18 years of age. Under S.4 of the Muslim Women Act, no maintenance from. UNS. Her husband, S.4 covers relatives Waqf Board. Section 58 of the Indian Evidence Act deals with. UNS. Admitted facts. Section 32, 5, IA, relationship by uns. Blood, marriage and adoption, all. Oral admissions as to the contents of a document are usually uns. Not relevant, S.22. Section 112, IA provides for the presumption of uns. Legitimacy. Law of evidence is uns. Lex 4E. Section providing for a hostile witness. uns. Section 154. Guidelines for issuing non-bailable warrants. uns. Inder Mohan Goswami v. State of Uttaranchal. Attachment proceedings abate on the death of the absconding accused. uns. True, the object is to compel appearance. A case with one cognizable offence among several. uns. Deemed cognizable, S.155, 4. CRPC section on prosecution of judges and public servants. uns. Section 197. Offence under Section 324 IPC. uns. Non-compoundable, per prevailing position. Withdrawal of prosecution under Section 321 CRPC by uns. Public prosecutor or assistant public prosecutor. Judgment under Section 353 CRPC written in the language of uns. The Court, S.354. Article providing for the special address by the Governor. uns. Article 176. Amendment adding Part 4A, Fundamental Duties. uns. 42nd Amendment. Law declared by the Supreme Court is binding on all courts. uns. Article 141. Secularism as part of the basic structure, held in uns. Keswananda Bharti v. State of Kerala. Reservation in public employment for backward classes. uns. Article 16, 4. Personal bias means uns. When the person sits as a judge and one of the parties is his relative. A.K. Kripak v. Union of India is a landmark on uns. Bias, violation of the principles of natural justice. Administrative law, powers and procedure, definition by uns. K.C. Davis. Not a meaning of rule of law, Dicey. uns. Wide discretionary powers. Separation of powers systematically propounded by uns. Montesquieu in the spirit of laws. Delegatus non potus delegare means uns. The delegate cannot further delegate. Chairman of the NHRC, Paper Era, 2023. uns. Justice Arun Kumar Mishra. Modern principle of natural justice propounded by uns. John Rawls, weak ambiguous question. Guidelines for arrest of a person by the police. uns. D.K. Basu v. State of West Bengal. CEDAW was adopted in uns. 1979. Liability extends to the cost of restoring environmental degradation. uns. Polluter pays principle. Closure demolition of shrimp industries in the CRZ. uns. S. Jagannath v. Union of India. Section 25 of the Environment Protection Act, 1986. uns. Power to make rules. The Forest Conservation Case. uns. T.N. Godavarman Thirumulpad v. Union of India. Not a minor penalty, CCSCCA Rules, 1965. uns. Compulsory retirement. Grave and sudden provocation is a uns. Question of fact. For abduction, The abducted person should be uns. No age is mentioned. Cheating and dishonestly inducing delivery valuable security. Uns. Section 420 IPC. Criminal conspiracy, S.120A, requires at least uns. 2 members. Death sentence in the rarest of rare cases. Uns. Bachan Singh v. State of Punjab. State of Bombay v. Rusi Mistri relates to uns. FIR, what constitutes a first information report. Application for plea bargaining is filed by uns. The accused. CRPC power of a private person to arrest. Uns. Section 43. Records a confessional statement under Section 164. Uns. Any judicial magistrate. Sessions Court takes cognizance under Section 199 when uns. It is the defamation of high dignitaries. Section 90 IA, presumption when a document is __old. Uns. 30 years. Cannot blow hot and cold in the same breath. Uns. Doctrine of election. A fact is said to be not proved. Uns. When it is neither proved nor disproved. Burden lies on one who would fail if no evidence were given. Uns. Section 102 IA. Relevancy and admissibility are uns. Not synonymous, not coextensive, is also arguable. Things arranged in a certain order in a certain place. Uns. Is a fact. Plea of alibi is garnered by uns. Section 11 IA. Reliance on the inculpatory part, rejecting the exculpatory part. Uns. Nishikant Jhavi, State of Bihar. A retracted confession. Uns. Cannot be the sole basis of conviction unless corroborated. A confession made then taken back. Uns. Retracted confession. Alienation by karta without legal necessity. Uns. Voidable at the instance of the coparcenaires. HMA section on custody of minor children. Uns. Section 26. Anand Karaj marriage is prevalent among uns. The 6. A Hindu male's adoption without the wife's consent. Uns. Void. Dastane v. Dastane. Uns. Cruelty as a ground of divorce. Set-off and counterclaims under CPC. Uns. Order 8. Bars further appeal against a single judge in second appeal. Uns. Section 100A. Suit under Section 91 CPC, public nuisance, filed by uns. Advocate General. Official assignee refuses to defend an insolvent property suit. Uns. Uncertain, verify against the official key. A suit not of a civil nature. Uns. A suit for the right to honorary and gratuitous services. Model Law for the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, 1996. Uns. Uncitral, 1985. Main objective of the Arbitration Act, 1996. Uns. To minimize the supervisory role of courts in the arbitral process. An arbitral award. Uns. Has to be in writing and signed by the members of the tribunal. An award is enforced as if it were a decree of uns. The court. Status of a Lok Adalat award. Uns. Deemed to be a decree of a civil court. Cases that can and cannot be referred to ADR. Uns. Afcons Infrastructure Ltd v. Cherian Varki Construction Co. Section 12 SRA, General Rule. Uns. Specific performance of part of a contract shall not be granted. Judgment in a declaratory suit. Uns. Judgment in personam. Section 6 SRA, Recovery of possession within. Uns. 6 months of dispossession. Section 20 SRA, post 2018, deals with Uns. Substituted performance of contract. Illegality renders a contract Uns. Illegal and void. Discover treasure by magic, agreement is Uns. Impossible in itself and void. A contract is not frustrated by Uns. Commercial hardship. Hadley v. Baxendale is a leading case on Uns. Damages. In anticipatory breach, the aggrieved party Uns. May wait till the date of performance and sue for damages. Liquidated damages is essentially Uns. A genuine covenanted pre-estimate of damages. Effect of ratification of an unauthorized act. Uns. Section 196. Section 31 Partnership Act, admitting a new partner. Uns. By consent of all partners, subject to contract and Section 30. Not a mode of dissolution, SS.4044. Uns. Dissolution by a minor through a guardian. Not a leading case on the doctrine of holding out. Uns. Trimble v. Goldberg. Section 17 Sale of Goods Act, implied conditions. Uns. By sample. Section 20 SOGA relates to Uns. Specific goods in a deliverable state. Incorrect statement on SOGA provisions. Uns. Risk passes with property, S.25, it is S.26. Nemo dat quod non habet, S.27, means Uns. No man can pass a better title than he himself has. Minimum directors in a public company. Uns. 3. Transfer of shares in a public company is Uns. Freely transferable. Doctrine that does not apply to acts void ab initio. Uns. Indoor management. Power to exempt from the Competition Act, 2002. Uns. Central government. Sale below cost to eliminate competitors. Uns. Predatory price. Not a duty of the Competition Commission. Uns. To protect the interest of investors. Exemption from disclosure under the RTI Act. Uns. Section 8. Number of schedules in the RTI Act, 2005. Uns. 2. The second schedule of the RTI Act can be amended by Uns. Central government. PIO fails to give information within the specified period. Uns. Deemed rejection. Information concerning life or liberty is provided within Uns. 48 hours. Adaptation in relation to an artistic work means Uns. Conversion of the work into a dramatic work by performance. Incorrect regarding trademark, it does not protect Uns. The idea. IPR protects information and ideas of Uns. Commercial value. Not a type of patent. Uns. Copyright. GI tag for the Kandangi sari received by Uns. Tamil Nadu. A design can also be registered under Uns. The Copyright Act. Patent is prohibited for Uns. Atomic energy. Confidential strategy formula giving a market advantage. UNS. Trade secrets. A digital signature certificate is a ___ requirement. UNS. Statutory. Authentication is a process for UNS. Confirming the identity of a person. Accessing a computer without authorization, IT Act. UNS. Section 66. Section 66 of the IT Act was struck down in UNS. Shreya Singhal v. Union of India. Not the definition of hacking. UNS. Authorized access, the option, deception for unlawful gain, also fits. Section 66C of the IT Act, 2000. UNS. Identity theft. A type of computer threat. UNS. DOS attack and phishing, option set is poorly framed. LL.M, sample paper, 2025. Updated to the BNS/BNSS BSA 2023 regime and recent developments. The Indian Federation is based on the pattern of UNS. Canada. Fundamental duties were incorporated on the recommendation of UNS. Swaran Singh Committee. No reason to compel non-smokers to be helpless victims of air pollution. UNS. Murli Deora v. Union of India. Doctrine of Pith and Substances. UNS. Used to resolve conflicts when a law overlaps with a subject in a different legislative list. Preamble is not a part of the Constitution, was held in UNS. The Berubri Union case. The President cannot ___ the Lok Sabha. UNS. Adjourn. Executive power of the state is vested in UNS. The Ghana of the state, which is not correctly matched. UNS. Part 6. Directive Principles of State Policy. Section 20 SOGA relates to UNS. Specific goods in a deliverable state. Incorrect statement on SOGA provisions. UNS. Risk passes with property, S.25, it is S.26. Nemo dat quod non habet, S.27, means UNS. No man can pass a better title than he himself has. Minimum directors in a public company. UNS. 3. Transfer of shares in a public company is UNS. Freely transferable. Doctrine that does not apply to acts void ab initio. UNS. Indoor management. Power to exempt from the Competition Act, 2002. UNS. Central government. Sale below cost to eliminate competitors. UNS. Predatory price. Not a duty of the Competition Commission. UNS. To protect the interest of investors. Exemption from disclosure under the RTI Act. UNS. Section 8. Number of schedules in the RTI Act, 2005. UNS. 2. The second schedule of the RTI Act can be amended by UNS. Central government. PIO fails to give information within the specified period. UNS. Deemed rejection. Information concerning life or liberty is provided within UNS. 48 hours. Adaptation in relation to an artistic work means UNS. Conversion of the work into a dramatic work by performance. Incorrect regarding trademark, it does not protect UNS. The idea. IPR protects information and ideas of UNS. Commercial value. Not a type of patent. UNS. Copyright. GI tag for the Kandangi sari received by UNS. Tamil Nadu. A design can also be registered under UNS. The Copyright Act. Patent is prohibited for UNS. Atomic energy. Confidential strategy formula giving a market advantage. UNS. Trade secrets. A digital signature certificate is a ___ requirement. UNS. Statutory. Authentication is a process for UNS. Confirming the identity of a person. Accessing a computer without authorization, IT Act. UNS. Section 66. Section 66 of the IT Act was struck down in UNS. Shreya Singhal v. Union of India. Not the definition of hacking. UNS. Authorized access, the option, deception for unlawful gain, also fits Section 66C of the IT Act, 2000. UNS. Identity theft. A type of computer threat. UNS. DOS attack and phishing, option set is poorly framed. LL.M, Sample Paper, 2025. Updated to the BNS/BNSS BSA 2023 regime and recent developments. The Indian Federation is based on the pattern of UNS. Canada. Fundamental duties were incorporated on the recommendation of UNS. Swaran Singh Committee. No reason to compel non-smokers to be helpless victims of air pollution. UNS. Murli Deora v. Union of India. Doctrine of Pith and Substances. UNS. Used to resolve conflicts when a law overlaps with a subject in a different legislative list. Preamble is not a part of the Constitution, was held in UNS. The Berubri Union case. The President cannot ___ the Lok Sabha. UNS. Adjourn. Executive power of the state is vested in UNS. The Ghana of the state, which is not correctly matched. UNS. Part 6. Directive Principles of State Policy. A specifically enforceable contract. UNS. A contract to sell rare china vases etc. Court can refuse an injunction under Section 41. UNS. All of the above. Power of the court to engage experts under UNS. Section 20A. Infrastructure contract provision under the SRA. UNS. Section 20A. Multifariousness results due to UNS. Misjoinder of parties and causes. Pleading means UNS. Either a plaint or a written statement. A garnishee order is UNS. An order directing a third party to pay the creditor. Attachability of judgment debtor property. UNS. Shares and government securities. Section 100 CPC, second appeal involves UNS. A substantial question of law. International commercial arbitration requires a party to be UNS. All of these. The decision of an arbitral tribunal is called UNS. An award. Confidentiality section inserted by amendment. UNS. Section 42A. When an arbitrator's mandate terminates. UNS. A substituted arbitrator is appointed. Conciliation proceedings can be used as evidence. UNS. Only at the discretion of the parties' tribunal. Restitution of conjugal rights. UNS. Withdrawal without reasonable cause. Children of a voidable marriage are UNS. Heirs of the parents and others. A bigamous marriage before the HMA, 1955. UNS. remains valid. A Mitakshara Kopasena's adopted interest. UNS. Ceases on adoption. Section 29 HSA relates to UNS. Escheat. Offences under the NE Act are UNS. Compoundable. Presumption as to the date of an instrument. UNS. On such date, payment must be made to UNS. The holder. A void agreement means one. UNS. Not enforceable by law. Taylor v. Caldwell relates to UNS. Frustration of contract. The doctrine of impossibility is based on UNS. Supervening impossibility. A finder of goods is UNS. A bailey. Hadley v. Baxendale. UNS. Remoteness of damage. A wagering agreement is UNS. Void. Not correctly matched. UNS. Kalil v. Carbolic Smoke Ball Co. Me stated. Maximum members of a public company. UNS. No maximum limit. Liability for failure to refund. UNS. Directors. Sweat equity shares mean UNS. All of the above. A partnership at will is UNS. One with no duration specified. Section 41 of the Partnership Act. UNS. Compulsory dissolution. Caveat emptor means UNS. Buyer beware. Section 26 of the Sale of Goods Act. UNS. Risk follows property. Burden of proving de minimis. UNS. The party seeking the excuse. An unpaid seller's lien exists when UNS. He is in possession. Anti-competitive agreements are UNS. Void. Copyright Act section on design overlap. UNS. Section 16. Copyright protects UNS. Expression. Copyright term. UNS. Lifetime plus 60 years. Royalty based on sale. UNS. Copyright agreement. Copyrightable subject. UNS. Literary work. A trademark identifies UNS. Name, symbol, logo. Anything under the sun, case. UNS. Diamond v. Chakrabarti. Bharat glass tube case relates to UNS. Designs. RTI promotes UNS. Transparency. An RTI officer is the UNS. Public Information Officer. RTI exemption includes UNS. All of the above. Rights under the RTI Act. UNS. All of the above. Life and liberty RTI time limit. UNS. 48 hours. Deemed refusal means UNS. Failure to provide information. Altering data so it is unusable until reversed. UNS. Encryption. Section 66 was struck down in UNS. Shreya Singhal v. Union of India. Cyber Terrorism Amendment. UNS. 2008 Amendment. False information harming reputation. UNS. Cyber defamation. Stealing information via a fake email site. UNS. Phishing. Unauthorized access to a computer. UNS. Section 66.